Hi, I'm Bryan with Tobias and Comer Law Firm, and I'm joined today by Senior Trooper Jesse Peacock with the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency, and I appreciate you coming out today.
Yes, sir. No problem. We enjoyed this.
Yes, sir. Well, we're here today to talk about something that's very near and dear to us. You can see we're here on the river, and that's life jackets and life jacket safety. Tell us, if you would, why it is that we have to wear life jackets.
Life jackets is near and dear to us as well. Most of our drownings are caused by not wearing a life jacket, whether it be involved in a boating accident or not. Wearing a life jacket greatly reduces your chance of drowning.
And you know, talking about that, people think, you know, it's never going to happen to me. Same thing with a seatbelt. But whether it's on a boat or whether it's on something like a paddle board or even a kayak, do you have to wear them?
You have to have them on board. Children under 8 have to wear a life jacket at all times. Once you reach that age of 8, the state law does not require you to wear the life jacket. But you do have to have a PFD on board for every person on board, and it has to be a proper size, proper fitting life jacket.
And the PFD, that's just a personal flotation device?
Personal flotation device, correct.
Talking about that, I understand there's different classes of life jackets.
There's actually 5 different types of life jackets, or PFD, personal flotation device. The type 2 I'm holding here today is referred to as a nearshore vest. A type 1 is very similar to this, except for it has some reflective tape. It's a little more sturdy and a little more heavy duty. It's called an offshore vest, and this one's a nearshore. The great thing about a type 1 and a type 2 is they have a very good chance of floating an unconscious person face up in the water. The life jacket has a tendency to go to the surface of the water, so if you're wearing it properly, it will roll you over and has a very good chance of floating an unconscious person face up.
Is there a size limit? And if there is, where can people who want to make sure that they're wearing the right life jacket, how can they make sure that they're in the right one?
Well, all life jackets have a labeling, this one here, and a Coast Guard approval number. So when you order a life jacket, you definitely need to verify on the back that they have the proper size. See, this one here is a chest size 30 to 52 inches and a proper weight. And this is a type 2 PFD, and you have your Coast Guard approval number down here. If a life jacket does not have that, it's not a good life jacket. These are one of the things that we look for when we're inspecting the vessels.
Sure, and that's very important because, I mean, some people maybe think they're getting a good deal and think they're getting the right thing, but if it's not Coast Guard approved with a Coast Guard number, it's not okay.
Exactly, and all of them, all the buckles, zippers, snaps, everything has to work on the life jacket in order for it to be serviceable.
And so this one is for an adult, and so if the adult's over the age of 8 and an adult, then it just has to be on the vessel.
Just has to be on the vessel. Under 8, they have to be wearing it. The type 3 is next, and as you can see, this one here is a child's, but this is a type 3. It has flotation on the front and the back. If you're unconscious in this one, it's going to float you whichever direction you land. These are more commonly called ski vests, and this is what you see people skiing and tubing with.
Now this one, as opposed to the type 2 we just looked at, since it is for a child, I noticed it's got more straps, including one through the bottom. If the child's wearing it, do they all have to be buckled?
If the child is under 8 and required to wear it, all the straps have to be securely in place properly, including the one that goes between their legs to help hold the life jacket down instead of slipping off of them.
Okay, that's very important. And again, also this one, it says specifically for a child. This type 3 is rated for children between 30 and 50 pounds.
That's correct.
Make sure you're putting your child in the right size. If your child's 55 pounds, you would need to go with a bigger one.
That's absolutely correct. Carry your child to the store and have them try the life jacket on to make sure it's proper size and it's comfortable.
They get hit or something happens, they catch a wave and they fall out, you want to make sure that they're going to stay upright and float. The next one we have over here is what?
What we have here is a type 4 throwable. All boats over 16 feet are required to have this on board of their boat. Again, all life jackets, including the type 4 throwable, have a Coast Guard approval number and the rating for it. This one here clearly says do not wear on back. I know most of us as kids, we like to slip it on and swim around the boat, but that's very dangerous because if this thing slips up over your head, it's going to hold your head submerged under the water.
Right. And so the purpose of this then is if you are on the boat and somebody pitches overboard and they don't have their jacket on, you can throw it to them?
Yes, this one will throw very much easier than those other ones. If you're not wearing it, it has to be readily accessible. You can't have them all locked up in a storage box where not everybody can get to them because they're not serving any purpose. I have 2 different type 5s here that I want to talk about. Some of the inflatable life vests are type 5. The one I'm wearing today is a type 2. Very important to read the labeling. A Type 5 does not count unless it's being used for its intended use. So if you have this life jacket on your boat, it's labeled a Type 5 and it's just laying in your boat, it does not count as a life jacket because the intended use of that life jacket is to be worn.
So then if I get stopped and have a check done and I have this counts as my life jacket, but I'm not wearing it, I'm gonna get cited for not wearing a life jacket?
That's correct, because it does not count unless you're wearing it. Now, if you have a couple other Type 1, 2s, or 3s on board for every person, then it'll count.
Sure. And what's this other one that you brought?
This is the new style infant life jackets with a Coast Guard approval number. They're really comfortable for the children because sometimes it's hard to get a child to wear a life jacket. It's uncomfortable, it's bulky, but it is required. These little puddle jumpers, their arms go in, flotation's on the front, so therefore, if they go in the water, it's going to float them face up. But it has to be worn in order to count because, again, this is just another style of a Type 5 life jacket.
Sure. And very important, we were talking about this before we started filming, there are those on the market that aren't Coast Guard approved. And the same deal, I guess, applies if you buy one and put it on your child and it's not Coast Guard approved, that's not okay.
That is not okay. We will actually, ask you to roll them down where we could verify the Coast Guard approval number, because if it doesn't have that Coast Guard approval number, it's not any good. It does not count.
To sum it up, there's the 5 different types of life jackets, and depending on who you are, an adult or a child, and what you're going to be doing, that's going to dictate what you do, which one you have.
That's correct.
Okay, all right. Well, Senior Trooper Peacock, I appreciate you coming
Yes,
by
sir.
and keeping us safe.
You as well.
Thanks.